Welcome to Beyond Death, where we examine near-death experiences from people who claim they have died and visited the other side. Today's near-death experience is from Sharlene S, who talks about her glimpse behind the veil that separates the earthly realm from the afterlife, and goes on to describe an encounter where angels of the Lord protected her. Let's get straight into it. In October of 2020, I caught COVID. I caught it from taking care of my husband, who had caught it from taking care of his father, who had it. His father ended up in the hospital and passed away. My husband ended up in the hospital and almost passed away. I am so thankful he didn't. But on this particular day, I was feeling very weak and sick and was lying on the bed feeling like I was passing out. I felt myself slipping away, and I thought to myself that if I'm feeling this bad, then my husband, who was in the den and was sicker than I was, could be feeling worse and may have even passed away. So I went to get up off the bed. But when I did, my feet didn't touch the floor. I started walking, but my feet were not touching the floor. This was so confusing to me, but I kept walking, and a voice or words were spoken to me somehow from behind me, right behind my right shoulder. They said, "It's the prayers of the saints holding you up." I know this doesn't make sense now, but I started repeating this because at the time it made sense. I walked around the corner from my bedroom, and it was as though my right eye peeled back, and I was able to see into this other place, this other world, this other realm, bathed in this glorious light. I now know that this was more of a curtain or a veil, and not my actual eye peeling back, but at the time it seemed like my right eye was peeling back, and I was slowly able to see through the walls in my house. Where there were once walls, there were now these beings. And I could see with my left eye. I can't see with my left eye. I have blindness in my left eye. But I could see these two ugly creatures to my left crouched down in darkness, where there was once a bench up against a wall. They were crouching and turned to the right, looking at someone behind me. They were so ugly, and their skin was like reptilian and amphibian and dark in color. They had legs and arms and long fingernails and long teeth, but I really didn't look at them too long. I turned to my right, and there was this being, this angel protector right there. He was looking down at me. He was very big, tall, taller than the roof of my house, but the roof of my house was not there anymore. He was a warrior. And there were 4 more like him behind him, where the wall of my house should have been. He had a helmet on. The helmet was very fitted to his head, and a beautiful brownish, bronze color. His eyes were very caring, the way they were looking at me. He was saying, "Are you okay? You're okay. We're making sure you're okay." Words like that were said to me somehow without him actually speaking them. They were awesome, these angels. The way they stood there. They didn't have swords drawn, and I didn't see wings, but they were wearing beautiful armor that looked perfect and royal, and the way they stood, they were not afraid of anything, and they were not angry either. But they sure were keeping those ugly creatures from hurting me and my family. They didn't even have to look at those creatures, and those creatures were just all crouching and snarling and not able to move. The creatures were in the shadows, still in the darkness. The angel closest to me, the one that had been right at my right shoulder the whole time, made close eye contact with me at one time, and there was this joy in his eyes and almost a playfulness. It was like he knew me. He was youthful but very strong, and I could tell just by looking at him that he belonged to the king. But what was over everything, and what I can't stop thinking about, is the light. It is the most beautiful light I have ever seen, white and golden at the same time, clear and iridescent, like looking through a dragonfly's wing. Pure and holy and perfect. The light was alive, and it was love, and it was loving. And I wanted to dwell in it forever. And the light is called glory. It is Heavenly Father. He is the Father of glory. And this light is right there, right through the veil. Open the curtain and slip inside, and it's all around. But I can't slip through that curtain anymore like I did on that day. So I search for this light always. in the sunrises and the sunsets, in sun showers, in plays of light on water. I chase the light, and I'm a bit obsessed about it. But I know it's there even if I can't see it like I did on that day. And there was this large group of people. I was told they were saints, and they were my heart family waiting for me. And they were all in the light. And it was so lovely. They were all wearing these long robes of pure, fine linen. I touched the linen from one of them, and it was not too heavy and not too light. And the light was all in it. The robes were not masculine, and not feminine, but royal-like, perfect, heavenly. And they were special people because they were wearing the robes, or the robes showed that they were special people. I may not be explaining it right. There was this one young woman that came up to me at one point. She was smaller than I was, and she had soft, light brown curls. Her hands were so familiar, but they were younger than my Mimi's. I wanted it to be my Mimi. She was my favorite person in the whole world at one time in my life. She touched my forehead very lightly, and I felt love. Maybe it was her. I really wanted to be her, but I just don't know. But those people that were there, they were all standing there watching. They were standing, perfectly spaced, not equally spaced, but perfectly spaced. Some were in twos and some single. But they were not grouped together like we would be here. It was spaced so they could easily see what was happening. They were peacefully watching, and they all knew me and loved me, but I didn't stop and stay long enough to see them and look at their faces. I wish I would have stayed. I wish I would have looked. But I was so worried about my husband that I didn't stay or linger. But there are still so many things, so many events stacked up on top of each other. Events and images that I am still sifting through because there was no time there, not like there is here. It wasn't chronological. It stood still and it happened at once. It's so hard to explain. So many things are still jumbled up. So many things that happened, and I'm still trying to sift through and make sense. Colors that I've never seen that I'm trying to find here. But I can't. I try to draw or paint what I saw, but it's so inadequate and does not even come close. There was this tree in the distance that seemed so far away, but I knew that I wanted to go to that tree. I felt that Jesus was there and I needed to see him and talk to him. I don't remember walking to the tree, but I remember being at the tree. Jesus was big and I was child-size compared to him. He was in front of the tree, sitting, and I was standing in front of him. He was holding my hands. I was telling him so many things, but I can't remember all of the things I was telling him. He was telling me that it was okay. I remember him making it all okay. He loves me. He sees me as his little child. I'm 52 years old, and he sees me as a little child. And I am now having a difficult time looking at myself as a 52-year-old woman. I now see myself as a young girl because Heavenly Father and Jesus see me as a little child. They see all of us as little children. We are so hard on ourselves sometimes. Yes, there's evil in the world, but if we are in the light and we are loving, why are we so hard on ourselves? Just keep loving and keep being kind. Know that in the spirit realm you are light. You are walking in light, and that light is so bright. I saw that light. It was amazing and beautiful. I saw the shadows and the darkness too. It's there, but it's not so difficult to be walking in the light. And we have protectors and a cheering squad. I saw it, and it was more real than this life. When I came back to this realm, everything was shadowy compared to the light in the other realm. It's more real there than it is here, but what we do here really matters. I remembered this experience so much easier and more vividly than the events around it, the things that happened before and after. I wish I could remember the exact day of the week and the exact time of the day. I do remember it was night outside, but when I walked around the corner, there was light everywhere. People have asked me what color the angels were. Everything there was in the light. The light was flowing through everything. They were a pure color and a color of light, but they were not glowing. They resembled a man, but they were not humans. There was this one color that I am really hung up on and have been trying to find here. And the closest I have found is the color of aged olive wood that has been polished. Maybe also the color of aged bronze refined by fire, but I'm not sure if that is just the color of their armor. Their armor was that color. Jesus was wearing a long white robe. It was kind of heavy and reached his feet. He was wearing sandals. They were interesting, and I've never seen sandals like that before. They were beautifully made. He was wearing two types of sashes. One was a bright blue color, and one was a yellow. Everything was made in a fine material, not fine as in thin, but fine as in richly made. Nothing was old. Everything was new and royal, fitting of a king. This experience has changed me. I am forever changed. I have seen the Father's glory. I have slipped through the veil, and I have seen another realm, which is right here alongside us all the time. We have angel protectors. We have a heart family. We have a King and Heavenly Father. But there's also darkness and shadows and evil and Satan's guys. I saw them too. They were no threat to me because I was in the light. I vacillate between wanting to tell everyone and not wanting to tell anyone. People look at me like I'm crazy. My family worries about me. But I am changed. I am forever changed. My hope is in heaven, and I'll never give that up because I've seen the light. I've seen the light. And I know who he is. Note from Beyond Death. If you would like to read this NDE for yourself, or the brief question and answer interview with Sharlene, please visit the link in the description. Thank you for watching.